Welcome back to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. I'm Ritwika Gupta and you're watching our special series Eye on Dubai. In this segment, I get chatting with Amit Goenka, Chairman and Managing Director of Nisus Finance. Amit speaks to me on why Dubai is becoming a magnet for Indian capital and the evolving dynamics of cross-border investment.
Dubai, a global hotspot for investments in the property market backed by world-class infrastructure and diverse investment opportunities. The UAE's real estate is projected to reach a staggering $693.5 billion by 2025, making it a hub for international capital. Tapping into this growth is Nisus Finance, one of India's leading diversified financial services firms with a deep focus on real estate and urban infrastructure. As Indian HNIs and family offices increasingly look to Dubai for wealth creation, Nisus is bridging the gap through its strategic presence in the region. We spoke with Amit Goenka, Chairman and Managing Director of Nisus Finance, to understand why Dubai is becoming a preferred destination for Indian real estate investors.
Mr. Goenka, welcome to ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow. It's a pleasure to be doing this interview with you.
Thank you so much, Ritwika. It's a real pleasure to be here with you as well.
So, Mr. Goenka, tell me first, why Dubai? Why did you choose Dubai as the preferred market for Nisus Finance first ever international fund deployment?
For us, Dubai is already second home. You know, I've been here for a number of years, till 2008. You see the Indian diaspora here. And given the total influx of capital from India to the UAE, which has topped over $32 billion in less than 10 years, there is obviously an extraordinary amount of interest from Indian investors who are our LPs in our funds to invest in the UAE. Their challenge obviously has been the regulatory framework, the conduit, the right opportunity within the FEMA regulatory environment, and how do they make the best out of the UAE real estate market. Having worked emerging markets for the last 15 years, we understand this ecosystem really, really well. We're very comfortable and at home here. Also, the presence of Dr. Vivek Anand Oberoi, who's a partner and has been here for the last 5-6 years, makes our engagement even more deeper and even more profound. So not only are we here at home, but we've got great partnerships. We've got great amount of support from the local institutions, from banks, from our investors, who are very enthused by the idea that we're creating a very well-regulated, a very strong investment thesis in one of the fastest growing markets in the world, which is the UAE and Dubai.
Fantastic. Tell me, how does the DIFC framework support Indian institutional investors who are looking to enter the real estate market here in the GCC?
I think DIFC is one of the most mature regulators and institutional platforms when it comes to global capital. You will see most of the major international banks, blue-blooded global investors, advisors who have set up themselves in the DIFC. The DFSA is a very, very strong regulator, especially after the exit from the FATF grey listing that Dubai and the UAE went through. It has created even added layers of KYC, of AML, of checks and balances to ensure that the best of breed capital in the world finds comfort, finds governance, finds safety, and then ability to do business without any remorse.
Right.
Also, the cooperation between the governments and the DIFC, for example, the Dubai Land Department, is very, very important. For example, as a fund house, today we're allowed to buy a GCC or a local property, which a foreign investor otherwise can't buy. They can only buy freehold, as you know. But as a fund house, we're allowed to do that. We have tax incentives. We have a complete tax pass-through system. We have double tax avoidance treaties in place. We have a very, very strong ecosystem within the UAE environment and governance for us to seamlessly trade and transact and acquire assets and make the best out of the emergence of this real estate opportunity. So that makes DIFC very, very special, given its history, given its regulatory framework, given the cooperation that it has with the governments and the various regulators here. It is a natural choice for us to be here.
Right, and just picking up from what you said, tell me, how has the UAE and India economic cooperation, the bilateral trade agreement, how has that really enabled more such cross-border investments?
I think it's one of the major inflection points for us to be here as well, because we've seen the deep cooperation between the two countries who are like brothers for several decades, the constant engagement between our Honorable Prime Minister Modi and the ruler president of the UAE, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, have been a very strong engagement. We recently saw our Crown Prince from Dubai visit India, and there have been such a large amount of dialogues which have ended up into such a strong pact, which allows the trade volumes to now go up from what was $45 billion to over $90 billion, expected to touch $200 billion between the two countries in terms of exchange of goods, services, capital, IP, technology, education, and the whole framework of cooperation, including something like an UPI also, which is being talked about with the UAE. So this is obviously a very strong springboard to create a very strong bilateral agreement and trade flows between the countries. We have a local currency settlement system also now in place, which allows Indian rupees and dirhams to seamlessly exchange itself. So I think that's a very unique position that India and UAE are.
Now, with the target size of $1 billion, that is a pretty ambitious, target for the real estate market. But how do you see the role of global capital, especially from India, playing in this entire ecosystem?
To be very honest, I think 1 billion is a very conservative target, and the bulk of it is actually is coming from global capital. So the UAE is the largest recipient of FDI of over $50 billion, next to only China, and a large part of that is obviously in real estate. So obviously it needs a conduit. Today you're able to only go and do off-plan purchases, you're able to go and buy a villa, maybe you'll buy land, but that does not sort of solve for your returns and for a risk-mitigated outcome for your investments, right? Which is what mature capital is seeking. They're not seeking the volatility and the economic shocks that any country or region may go through. So clearly I think this is a very, very reasonable target, to be honest. I think it's a test case for us, honestly, to show to the global capital world that this is the region which can not only absorb blue-blooded, absolutely top-of-the-line capital, put it to work efficiently, make great outcomes, but expand that over the next 10 years as the region continues on its growth trajectory, potentially at a 6.5% GDP growth rate. And then we've seen the volumes grow like that every year. And if you look at India alone, I mean, we've seen that almost 60% of ultra-high net worth individual families of India are actively investing or looking to invest in the UAE. I mean, that's mind-boggling, right? Just the sheer amount of capital that is seeking opportunities in the India real estate. 6,500 high net worth families have made UAE their home only last year. So just that sheer amount of capital wall sitting, looking to make an entry in the UAE, make meaningful returns, benefit from this strong ecosystem, this oasis of prosperity, I think makes it a very, very easy target for us to put out and show that this is the place to be.
Right, and just extending your earlier point, tell me, what are some of the trends are you seeing among Indian HNIs and family offices, who are looking to invest in Dubai's property market?
See, I think when you look at it from a global standpoint, we've seen a lot of exodus from places like UK because of the non-dom status, and a lot of NRIs actually leaving Europe and UK and settling in the UAE. And I think it's been fueled by a lot of factors, especially post-COVID. I think the first is the welcoming nature of the UAE as a country with the golden visa program, student program, job seeker, entrepreneur, startup, you name it. Anybody can come, be a resident, open a bank account and get started, irrespective of who you are. So it welcomes everybody. Second, I think, is just the way it integrates everybody in a seamless melting pot. Right? So you don't feel out of place. You don't feel discerned. There are equal opportunities for people to actually go to DIFC and do a startup and get supported in that. And given the diaspora that is present, with 40% of the population of the country being Indians, it just becomes so much simpler for somebody from India to enter. I think more than that, just the number of free zones that have opened and started to work and say, hey, please come, set up your business and start business immediately. In a few days. So you're not going through the huge amount of red tape and licensing and all of the other paperwork, because it's overnight. It's digital. It's so quick. So I think this whole push towards the new age economy is moving to digitization, moving to manufacturing, moving to, new as an education ground. You have IIT and BITS, which have opened here. So the number of economic drivers have become so strong in the last 4 or 5 years for this region that it becomes a natural magnet for people to actually come and settle here and make this their home. Obviously that's going to continue to propel real estate.
Right. Absolutely. And finally, sir, tell me, how are you planning to expand, making Dubai your base, but how are you planning to expand across GCC?
I think it's a very unique situation that the GCC has put itself in as not just a region, as the Gulf Cooperation Council, but it's now more than that. Okay, it's actually one of the epicenters for global economic growth, and it's non-oil based.
Right.
Okay, so it doesn't matter what the crude is today. I think we're seeing huge growth drivers across all the countries in the GCC. For example, the mega infrastructure vision for Saudi 2030, is really what the Honorable Ruler Mohammed bin Salman has been envisioning, is to allow global population to come and settle in Saudi,
right.
Work there, live there, play there, make it a tourist destination. Who could have thought that Saudi would open its borders in such a wide way? Yeah. So just the shift in mindset across the GCC, which is welcoming foreign capital, which is welcoming foreign nationals, which is allowing them to seamlessly transact, seamlessly work, and create a very, very easy ecosystem within the GCC, where it's very easy to get a residency, travel seamlessly in the region, do transactions and trade with other parts of the world. And so I think it's a natural expansion for us. We're looking at industrial, warehousing, logistics, cold chain in Saudi as the influx point for the whole, transshipment and manufacturing ecosystem. We're looking at educational assets as education grows here. Looking at student housing and so many different asset classes across the region. We're looking at obviously hospitality service apartments. It's got potentially one of the largest hotels compared to India, but it's still not able to fulfill the incoming demand.
Right.
So I think the region is obviously gearing itself with global events coming there, cricket coming to GCC,
yes.
And you can imagine number of people coming when they want to do cricket, right? So that's sort of the fuel that is being provided within the GCC, the oxygen that it has of demographics, of capital, of the ability to bring together, the best in the world to work and play together, I think is an immense opportunity to work out of the UAE for the GCC.
Fantastic. This was a very insightful conversation. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Goenka.
Thank you so much, Ritwika.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.